It's been a bad couple years for video games. In 2 years, I haven't had a video game erase my day like they once did. I, like every other pitchfork-wielding console peasant, have spent 2 years whining and complaining about the state of video games. Broken launches, lazy design, partitioned content for nickel and dime DLC later. I do think we as consumers have every right to feel slighted. We're getting neither the quality nor the quantity of content we historically associate with a $60 price tag. But we aren't without our own faults either. To a large extent, we are an incoherent mob. When it comes to video games, we often can't articulate what's really great, what's really bad, what's really right, what's really wrong, what we really like, and what we really don't. And I'm no different. Sure, I can identify an objectively broken game like the Master Chief Collection and say, I want a game that has functional matchmaking. But beyond that low-hanging objective fruit, I have a hard time explaining what separates a great game from the mediocre ones. There are few rules and no consistency in this arena, and so our reception of games is often contradictory. I got bored of Titanfall, for example, because there wasn't enough content to sustain my interest in that game. And I gave up on The Witcher 3 for exactly the opposite reason. The depth of content in that game was overwhelming to me. I don't have the time to deal with everything that game has to offer. So when I review games, I wonder what type of objective standard I can identify to categorize games as good or bad, as fun or not, as interesting or boring. And the only one that I can come up with is the daylight saving standard. I want a game that sets my clock forward. I want a game that makes time disappear. And a game can do that in a number of ways. Compelling story, competitive multiplayer, beautiful presentation in visuals or sound. Through nailing any one of these or combining these factors in an artful way, a great game sets your clock forward. I know a good game when I sit down with the intent to play an hour and 5 or 6 disappear before I look at the clock again. Halo 5 is that. Halo 5 is the first game to satisfy that standard for me on the new console generation. I don't need to discuss the specifics. This is an A+ game with something for everyone. Gorgeous visuals and sound, a deep and cooperative story, thrilling competitive multiplayer, and a new expertly crafted ultra-casual mode called Warzone. And it's Warzone that I predict will give this game long-term value and staying power. Warzone reminds me of Titanfall done right. Large-scale 12v12 player battles with AI enemies in the mix, massive maps, and a wealth of collectible weapons and vehicles strategically usable in a tier-based system that unlocks them in-game based on player performance. If you love great video game storytelling, Halo 5 is for you. If you love tense competitive multiplayer matches, Halo 5 is for you. If you love teaming up with your friends trying to shoot aliens faster than other people and their friends can shoot them, Halo 5 is for you. If you enjoy video games, Halo 5 is for you. This is the first game in a long time that justifies that blanket statement honestly. Halo 5 has stolen my heart and I'm vulnerable. But thankfully, the development team seems intent to care for it lovingly. Not only has 343 released an A+ game with no launch bugs, but they intend to release DLC through June for free. That's 15 more maps to come, all for free. 343 says they want to keep their player base intact and not fracture the haves against the have-nots. We can believe their good intentions. We can be more cynical and say this is a continuing apology parade for the colossal flop that was the Master Chief Collection. Either way, it is the same pro-consumer outcome for me. So 343, just when I think you couldn't possibly get any worse, you go and do something like this.
And totally redeem yourself!
Our culture loves to tear people down, and I love to tear you down, 343, but we also love a good redemption story. Halo has fulfilled that trope perfectly so far on the Xbox One, and ultimately, I am thrilled to know I'll have at least one game this year that I can count on to set my clock forward. Vonderhaar, if you can deliver as well, perhaps 2016 will finally be the year I can say my now 2-year-old console investments have paid off. If you fail, you can expect a swift tweet from me instructing you to contract AIDS, and I will carry on my merry Halo way. Pressure's on. Thanks as always for listening and for supporting this channel. Always appreciate the thoughtful discussion down below and on Twitter @skag_3. So get at me over there. Okay, thanks. Bye.